Hi, my name is Tyriece Simon, and this is my PFL 6 slash Bellator 261 recap show. Recapping both the big events, big moments of both PFL and Bellator from last night. They were actually, I think maybe the first doubleheader between PFL and Bellator, which is interesting. But yeah, I'm going to be here to recap both PFL and Bellator 261, tell you guys what to look for, what to go back and watch, and discuss what maybe you thought were the highlights of the shows. So that's going to be on the docket today. Also, in the description, join our Discord. Discord is where me, Elijah, can communicate with you guys, talk with you guys about PFL, Bellator, UFC. Do watch-alongs, do have discussions, discuss things about the show, all that there. So definitely click on the description. Go in the description and click on that link and join us, please. And yeah, man, for first and foremost, before we get into the show, hope you guys are all doing well. This is a nice Saturday morning. A little cloudy in New York, but should be brighten up later on today. Uh, Me and Elijah will be back tomorrow to discuss the UFC event that's happening today. At 4 o'clock, which again, you guys could join us on the Discord to discuss the event, watch along with us. Um, yeah, again, click on the description. You join us. Oh yeah. Other than that, just before we get into it, besides that, um, Elijah's good. I'm good. We're ready for Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier, which we'll be doing a prediction show for that next week. We'll have that out next week, and yeah, we're just both excited to see how this plays out because one would think whoever loses takes a big step back. I'm talking about uh, notoriety. I'm talking about money. I'm talking about fame. Um, Connor, he has a whiskey business and stuff like that. But in terms of just like as an MMA, I would think he would take a big step back. For Dustin Poirier, this would probably be his biggest payday to date, and a win here would change his career forever if he beats Conor McGregor. So it's definitely something we're going to talk about, and I'm interested to see where Elijah's thoughts are. But nonetheless, let's not waste any time. Let's get into it. Let's start with Bellator 261. So Bellator 261 went down, and I think they're still running out of the Mohegan Sun Arena in Connecticut. Main event featured Tim Johnson versus, I'm going to get this name right, Valentin Moldanovsky for the interim heavyweight title. Um, uh, I think John McCarthy said it best. No, I think it was actually John Thompson and John McCarthy. They both said it best. I think it was a battle of speed, and I think the speed of Valentin played a big impact in this fight. Valentin Moldavsky beats Tim Johnson by unanimous decision. Um, I had him winning round 1, 3, 4, 5. I don't winning round 1, 3, 4, 5. Um, Pretty decisively too. And then you honestly, if it wasn't for the last maybe about a minute or two in the second round, he could have probably won round two as well. Um, Moldanovsky's is it works trains with Team Fedor, so you have that lineage there. Team Fedor was also there yesterday at Bellator. They announced he's fighting later this year in Moscow, which would be interesting to see who he fights. I think I heard names is like JDS, uh, JDS. What was the other guy's name? John Barnett. So it'll be interested to see who he fights. Um, but yeah, I honestly, man, I thought it was a clear decision win for Moldanovsky. Um, I thought the speed was a big issue. Moldanovsky would throw combinations, 1-2s, never really threw just one punch. If he did throw one punch, it was a clean land and counter to Tim Johnson. Whereas Tim Johnson was trying to find that one punch, or just had a little bit of an issue catching up to Moldanovsky. I think the best moments of Tim Johnson was in the second round, where he let his hands go a little bit more and was able to land some combinations, and was able to, not just throw one strike, but to get on the inside, get a little bit in the clinch, and get in close distance, and able to land one or two more punches. He landed a beautiful left straight, I believe, in the second round. But ultimately, man, it was just Valentin just had a little bit more to offer, just a little bit more fast, a little bit able to get out of the way of multiple punches, able to land a little bit more, and to not just throw one punch, but throw multiple combinations. Also, the grappling. I thought what was interesting about that fight was Tim Johnson is the bigger guy. He has to cut to 265. And Valentin was able to do a great job of controlling the hands and able to not be smothered by Tim Johnson, of how big he is, but not be smothered in the clinch against the cage. Was able to escape most of it. And he did a great job taking the punches too. A bigger Tim Johnson who again has to cut to 265. He took a lot of flush shots from Tim Johnson, and was able to get back into the rhythm. And it was moments of also brilliance of where Tim Johnson was unloading a little bit in the second round, and he decided to clinch up and try to slow down Tim Johnson from getting that momentum. And in the third round, instead of moving forward on Tim Johnson and trying to throw combinations, he would stay on the outside and pick his shots. And I thought he did a great job of bouncing back from the second round to where Tim Johnson, like he was on the side. He lands a couple of good shots. And then the third, fourth, fifth round, was able to control the pace of the fight and move it right back to his direction, his favor, to where he gets the unanimous decision win. I thought it was a brilliant game plan and a brilliant end fight. Trying to adjust to what Tim Johnson was doing in the second round. I thought, again, the tie was going to Tim Johnson's side in the second round, and it went right back to Valentin. I thought that was a really good job by Valentin. But no, there's not really much to say here with this fight. We'll see what Ryan Bader does. He's in the light heavyweight big Grand Prix, so we'll see how that shakes out when we're going to see another heavyweight title fight, or see if they continue to run with this interim title, or if they decide to strip Ryan Bader and give it to Valentin, and then have whenever Ryan Bader finishes up at the Grand Prix, you could do the fight for the undisputed title against Valentin and Ryan Bader. But for Valentin, man, it was a good win for him. Not only showed his speed, but showed his IQ, being able to adjust and fight when the Tyson is going to turn a little bit. And for, against a guy like Tim Johnson, be able to take those punches well, really, really interesting to see. And I'm interested to see how he does against a Ryan Bader fight in the future. But Tim Johnson, I don't think his stock goes down that much. I think one fight or two, and he's right back into the title picture. So it wasn't a bad loss by Tim Johnson, but Valentin definitely won convincingly. Other fights on a Bellator card. Liz Carmouche. I think Liz Carmouche, I would say it's fair to say she had the best performance on the entire card, which is interesting because Liz Carmouche was going against an undefeated fighter at 37 years old. Now in Bellator, had not the best run in the UFC, a later part of her UFC career. Against Kanata Watanabe, who was looking to be the next challenger for the flyweight title. And Liz Carmouche went in there and just picked her apart. Landed a beautiful leg kick that caught Kana off balance, and then landed her right straight. And then from there, just unloaded on her with a barrage of strikes. One of them being an overhand right, and the referee had to stop the fight, I believe, within how many seconds? I think it was like under a minute. It was under a minute. She lost. Oh, 35 seconds. 35 seconds. Liz Carmouche went in there, which Liz Carmouche is on a 3-fight winning streak. Um, Again, Bellator needs flyweight challengers. She definitely fits that bill. She beat Vanessa Porto, Deanna Burnett, uh, and now Kanata Watanabe. She's finished 2 of her last 3 fights. I think, a title shot is in order for her, especially up this win. So it's good to see at 37 years old, lost to Valentina Shevchenko, goes to Bellator, took a chance, goes to Bellator, and is now moving right back into a title picture in another organization. So good for her. And yeah, I thought, after Bellator 261, out of everybody on this card, I think she's the one that's going to be most talked about as, having the best performance of the other night. Sydney Outlaw beats Miles Jury by rear naked choke. Not really much to say here. Sydney Outlaw pretty much used his Brazilian jiu-jitsu, was able to control Miles Jury for every part of this fight. Every second, every minute of this fight was Sydney Outlaw controlling Miles Jury on the ground, whether it was catching a knee and taking him down, whether it was catching a kick and taking him down, whether it was just kicking the legs out from Miles Jury and taking his back. Every second was Miles Jury on the ground trying to defend against a rear naked choke. And I thought that was a brilliant game plan by Sydney Outlaw. And I thought he did a great job of controlling every movement on the ground. Like Miles Jury had no way of reversing, no way of trying to get up, no way of turning a defense to the offense. It was strictly all on Sydney Outlaw, and I thought he dominated Miles Jury. Like I haven't seen Miles Jury dominated in a while. It was a really, really good game plan, but to take him down and use and rely on his jiu-jitsu, and it worked brilliantly. I for Miles Jury, man, I don't know where he goes from here. I think he's lost his last it's one like food losing streak. He beat Georgi Karakian. I'm not gonna get the name right. He beat him by split decision, beat Brendan Gertz, but then he lost to Benson Henderson, lost to Andre. Well, in the UFC, he lost to Andre Fili, Chad Mendez. So this is his first loss, second loss in Bellator. So I'm going to see where he goes from here. He's not really, blowing the doors down at Bellator just yet, but who knows? Who knows? I would say this one was a pretty clear-cut, decisive win for Sydney Outlaw. Absolute domination. Absolute domination. I mean, another fight I thought was good on this card was Christian Edwards. I think besides Liz Carmouche, I thought Christian Edwards had the second best performance of the night. I thought he had a good job on short notice taking a Simon Biong. It was a really good fight. And he's 22 years old, the training partner of John Jones. People make the comparisons of he may be the next big thing coming out of Jackson Wink. And man, he looked sensational. He's able to hurt Simon Biong early on with a knee up the middle. People may criticize him for not going for the finish there, but again, he played it smart, he played it safe. Was able to pretty much from there just control Simon Biong, and Simon Biong really was just one step behind Christian Edwards. I love the feints early on. The feints early on from Christian Edwards set up the strikes later on in the fight to where every jab, every flush land by Christian Edwards was because of the feints early on, to where Simon Biong couldn't really decide when the punch was coming, and it threw off Biong's timing. And I thought Edwards did a great job of ducking and using his head movement and his footwork to get out of the way of the big looping shots that Simon Young was throwing. Thought they did a really, really good job. We saw a little bit of the grappling as well. Like I was really really impressed with Christian Edwards. Moves to 5-0, young prospect, 22 years old. It'll be interesting to see where he goes from here. I think the Bellator has a good prospect on their hands, and somebody that could be a really, really good 205er. And at 22 years old, that's a great prospect. So, yeah, I thought Bellator has some solid fights on the card. Again, Tim Johnson loses to Valentin. Liz Carmouche absolutely smokes Kana Watanabe. Christian Edwards, I think, behind Liz Carmouche, had the best performance of the night. If I had to grade this card, I would say it's solid B minus, maybe B minus, B plus, or solid B. I'll say it won't blow your hair back. It won't blow your hair back, but there are some solid performances on this card where you can go back and look at Christian Edwards as a this is the start of his rise. By the way, Simon Young, I thought he was still good at coming on a short notice. I thought he was still good. Liz Carmouche, again, her win over Kana Watanabe. Yeah, I thought it was a solid B minus, maybe B card. Not I can't really say anything bad about the card. But between both fights, between both nights, both promotions, sorry. Who had the better show? And who may be like the sneaking up as the next big coming the big three of MMA promotions? I think PFL is on that rise. I think PFL is having their breakout year this year, like without question. PFL is putting on consistently, time and time again, the best events with some of the best production, innovative way of camera angles and camera shots. They've raised their game up to 11. I think PFL is becoming. I think one championship was. People thought one championship was supposed to be that, and I think PFL is becoming that, and at least in the American market, PFL has been phenomenal. Which I'll talk about in a second. To the viewer watching, thank you for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe, share, like, tell us what you think of Bellator and the PFL. Definitely appreciate your thoughts, and also join Discord. I'll be on Discord today, watching UFC Vegas, whatever the fuck it's going to be. I'm sorry about my language, and I'll be watching Cyril Gane versus Alexander Volkov. I got Cyril Gane. I think Cyril Gane is going to be the next big thing in the heavyweight division. So I'm interested to see how he does against Volkov. But definitely join the Discord. Definitely join me and let me hear your thoughts on just MMA in general. So yeah, but back to PFL. I think PFL honestly is the best thing going today. I love the acquisitions they have. You have Kayla Harrison, who is becoming a star in MMA. Clarissa Shields, we already know about that. She's already a household name and a star, and she's becoming even bigger in the pop culture sphere. Anthony Pettis from UFC. You got Lance Palmer. You got Fabricio Verdum, and besides the ex UFC fighters or legends that you have, PFL, I think, has done a great job of scouting talent and bringing them to their organization to where I think they're becoming even bigger names. And because of this tournament format of, point systems and one or two losses and you're out of the tournament, and it's very so possible somebody that's just coming onto the MMA scene or somebody that's just not known yet, but is going to fight a well-known name like Anthony Pettis, who we're going to talk about in a second, or Lance Palmer. They could come on the scene and then make a name for themselves in one fight and be already in line to win $1 million. Like I think PFL has a great structure and a great format. Now, I think tournament's questionable. I've talked in the past about how there's certain wins and losses sometimes don't matter, but we've seen even tonight where the announcers, which I think was Randy Couture and Kenny Florin, who have been doing a great job. They talk about how in one fight, Lance Palmer had to knock the guy out or finish him in the second round. And if he didn't, he would be out the playoffs. So you've seen the sense of urgency from Lance Palmer to try to get a win in the second round. Like there's things like that I think are very, very interesting, and I think is very innovative to where PFL has their own lane. Like Bellator has their thing where you're a up and coming prospect, or they'll put on legends fights like Fedor or Rampage and stuff like that. And the UFC is UFC. They're a household name in itself. And I think PFL created their own niche to where they have this tournament format to where every fight matters, every fight is exciting, and they do a good job of acquiring talent to where the fights are almost even. Like it's hard to tell who could win. So I think that's a really, really good structure for PFL having. I'm glad they have their own lane. Let's go through the card. Kayla Harrison defeats Cindy Dandois. I think I'm saying her name. I hope I'm saying her name right. Not really much to say here. Kayla Harrison is an absolute monster. And it's going to be interesting to see who is going to stop her. People are already talking about having Clarissa Shields fight Kayla Harrison. That fight should not happen in at least the next couple of years, maybe not even ever. She's just so ahead of the competition that I think she just defeats Clarissa Shields as she is right now. Cindy decides to die for a takedown, and that was a big mistake. Kayla ground the pounds a little bit, gets on top, looks for the arm bar, and then gets a submission. Dislocates the elbow. Good for Kayla Harrison. Pretty decisive win. Hopefully Cindy's okay, and we'll see Cindy back in the PFL. Not really much to say there. Anthony Pettis, who was somebody that people thought was going to run through the PFL and be the winner, win the championship, be a millionaire. And he's lost 2 fights in the PFL and is now out of the tournament. I had it the same way. I had Rush Manfiu beating Anthony Pettis. I hope I'm saying that right. Two rounds, maybe 3 rounds to 1. 2 rounds to 1, maybe 3 rounds for Manfiu. Again, I'm hoping I'm saying the name right. Anthony Pettis, I thought he was there. He got dropped in the 3rd round. But I thought he was there in the fight, and but I just thought Manfiu just did just enough to edge out Anthony Pettis, and I thought the knockdown really put it more in the favor of Manfiu. Sucks because Anthony Pettis, people thought he was going to go to PFL and he's going to get get these big matchups, and he's going to ride to the sunset, and it's going to be a fresh start for Anthony Pettis. And it's trying to be different. He lost to Clay Carter, got hurt there, got hurt in the fight with Manfiu. So interesting to see where he goes from here. Whether he's going to, maybe decide to hang it up, maybe restructure his game plan. I don't know. But he's fighting against hungry guys who want to make a name for himself, and that is going to be a problem for Anthony Pettis, who, again, getting older, is a father now. Congratulations to him. I think he was a father on Father's Day. But it's going to be much tougher and much harder against these guys, again, the PFL, who are hungry, who wants to shine. And by the way, you may see me sweating bullets on this camera. Somebody has the oven on. It's hot as fuck. But I'm gonna work through it because I'm a pro. Movaled Kibulov defeats Lance Palmer by the end of decision. Pretty decisive win for Movaled. Interesting prospect, 17-0. 17-0. Interested to see where he goes from here. I would love to see more of him. I would love to see more of him. And impressive wins against Lance Palmer too. For him to dominate and defeat Lance Palmer like he did, I again, this is one of those things where Manfield beating Anthony Pettis, Mobiled beating Lance Palmer. These are just these things where it brings their stock and they become, household names, or they start to become in the back of people's minds to look out for. And I didn't know who Mobiled was before. I'm definitely looking for him now. It definitely looked a lot bigger too. He looked a lot bigger than Lance Palmer. Looked a lot bigger. So, again, 17 fight win streak, 17-0. I'm interested to see where he goes, where he does next. I'm interested to watch what he does next. So yeah, that was a good win. I'd be interested to see, now that Anthony Pettis and I would believe Lance Palmer out of the contest, out of the tournament, would they do a super fight, as you will, with Lance Palmer going up to 155 and fighting Anthony Pettis? I think that would be interesting. Two guys that I think, are names people know, and I would love to see those two face off against each other. Maybe do that in, during one of the cards, like a Clarissa Shields. If they're both healthy, do Clarissa Shields, or I have that as the co-main event of a Clarissa Shields card. I think that'd be interesting. Let's see what else here we have. But yeah, I mean, I think another big thing was the women. The women on this card, I think, were the biggest standouts on this card. You talk about Clarissa Shields, Larissa Pichaco. I hope I'm saying that name right. Versus Helena. I'm not even gonna butcher it. That was a really good fight while it lasted, and Larissa put her lights out moving backwards, which was interesting. Just absolutely blasted her. Had great knockout power, and absolutely puts her lights out. A 1-2 punch finishes the job, and I'm interested to see how Kayla Harrison would do against her. Like that's a matchup I'm interested to see. I think Larissa is on a 2-fight win streak, 15-4. She's lost to Kayla Harrison twice, so there's that. But I am very interested to see how she does now. She lost to Kayla Harrison 2 years ago. So time has passed. I want to see, has she adapted? Has she figured some things out? And I'm interested to see what that happened with her. Let's see who else. Who else was on the card that I think? Oh, Ginan Fabian versus Julia Pajic. Was impressive here. Like, she lands a head kick and then follows it up with a punch, knocks out our opponent. She's gonna be fighting Kayla Harrison next. I'm interested to see how she does. She's 4-1, so that's interesting. She's on a 3-fight win streak, 4-1. She's supposed to fight Kayla Harrison back in 2019. That fight got canceled. I'm interested to see how that fight goes now. I probably would lean more towards Kayla Harrison winning the fight, but that's, again, at least they have interesting matchups to where, okay, we could see Kayla Harrison fight, other female fighters that had impressive performances. We've seen it, and now we could look forward towards that. Even though she's 4-1, I'd probably say Larissa and Kayla Harrison is probably gonna be in the finals of the PFL tournament, and we'll get to see how Larissa does against Clarissa Shields, or if Clarissa Shields is just that good and just ahead of the curve that she just goes out there and just dominates again. Yeah, again, Jamal Jones, another one, will beat Clifton Abreu, former UFC fighter. Takes a kick and takes him down and just smashes him. That was a good performance. Like all Marina Moraes versus Caitlin Young was I think one of the best fights on both cards. I think it was a best fight on the from the Bellator and the PFL card. I think this was the best fight of both nights. Absolutely great fight for both. Amazing first round going back and forth. There were moments when like Caitlin Young was able to put it on her, but Marina was able to do a great job and delivered her own strikes as well. Great judo throws as well. It was a very, very close fight. I could see it going for both people, for both ladies. But it leaned more toward Marina. I think both their stock stays up, and I'm meant to see what both these ladies do next. It was one of the best fights on both nights, I think. So yeah, good for that. Good for those two ladies. Yeah, man. Again, PFL has been putting on great cards and showcasing great prospects and showcasing the talent that's outside the UFC that could any day beat any UFC fighter. Which at one point in time there were talks about how Bellator and these other organizations can't compare to the UFC, and now we're seeing ex-UFC fighters like an Anthony Pettis, who's a legend, and big names like Lance Palmer or Fabricio Verdum have trouble against these fighters that are up and coming, fighters that are hungry, that are that want to prove themselves against these ex-UFC fighters or fighters that are already established and are going out there performing. I'm loving the talent level in PFL right now, and I love the format that they're doing again. And I told Elijah today, like whenever PFL decides to have fans back, I want to go. I want to see a PFL card live because I think their overall production, their level of competition, their consistency, I think is something that to be admired and something that you talked about a lot more in the inmate community. I think they're putting on fantastic shows time and time again. So good for the PFL. Definitely best card of the night between Bellator and PFL. I'll lean more to PFL, and I would definitely want to watch more PFL and go back and watch these fights. I would give it a solid B+. Solid B+. I enjoyed the prospects on this card. I enjoyed the performances on this card. The prospects to look out for, I think are super high on. In the females, there's 155 division, which I didn't think was going to be as UFC has a problem with 145. Bellator even have their own problems, but this 155 division so far from PFL, I'm really enjoying. I'm really enjoying the fighters in the 155 females division, and I'm interested to see what comes out of this tournament. How does Clarissa Shields, if Clarissa Shields can win it all again? Larissa is the dark horse. Don't forget about the name I mentioned earlier, Fabian. You have another female on there, Jayla Garadu, defeating Laura Sanchez. Like she looked impressive. So like I'm interested to see what the PFL does next and how their next tournaments play out. But again, they have Clarissa Shields. A big boxing star going to MMA. Like they have PFL has so much going on for them. I think I can even make the case that maybe they should be on the ABC card at one point. Maybe PFL or ESPN should look to put or Disney should look at putting PFL on a Disney card and seeing how that does. I'm thoroughly impressed by what they're doing. I think they're doing a really good job. But yeah. That is it for Bellator and PFL. Hopefully you guys enjoyed my reaction, my recap of PFL and Bellator. I literally watched everything about an hour ago, consumed all this MMA all together, and try to give you guys a show. And that's why you see me going through the notes, stuff like that. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this show. PFL gets a B+, and Bellator, you could give it a B- or you give it a B. I would lean more towards a B-. It wasn't a bad show. Won't blow your hair back, but there were some good performances on the card. And for PFL, again, PFL over delivers again and again, so they get a B plus. So yeah, that's it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the show. Hopefully you guys are having a good day, evening, night. I will be on Discord. Get Discord link. I'll be discussing. I'll be watching UFC Vegas. Hopefully with you guys and be able to talk with you guys about anything MMA, life, what you think of Conor, Dustin, stuff like that, and we could watch UFC tonight as a family. So hopefully you guys tune in. Hopefully you guys will join. Subscribe, share, like if you haven't already, and we'll be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. to discuss the UFC event that's happening today, and hopefully some more news regarding Dustin Poirier and Conor Carr, which we're going to talk about. So, signing off. My name is Tyriece Simon. This has been my Bellator 261 PFL 6 recap. Have a nice day, guys. Talk to you guys soon.